I'll be honest, my life is much more mundane now, and let's unpack it for a second. I had this whole idea of how I was just going to very artfully and aesthetically edit these clips together and just show you the things that I do in my personal practice to feel connected and to create, I guess, just little moments of magic in my everyday. But what I felt was this need to kind of dig a little deeper, go a bit more than surface level, and share why building a practice has been so great for me, especially as somebody coming back from big city life, as many people kind of in their late 20s and early 30s, maybe even their 40s, are finding themselves in that position as well, just thinking about maybe going home to their small town from wherever they've been before. The background, if you're new, I lived in New York City for 8 years, so coming back home to Ireland, just outside of Cork, it's a little bit of a shock to the system, and it's a little bit of an adjustment, especially as somebody that really loved their city lifestyle. I felt like I just wanted to unpack this in a sort of a more ad hoc, short podcast sort of way. I tried making notes, it was a disaster, so I'm following my intuition and I've plugged in my mic and I'm just gonna go for it. Visually, I'll be sticking to the plan. I'll be sharing things that I sprinkle into my day, my month, my week. These are definitely not everyday things that I do, but they're things that I enjoy and I definitely make time for regularly, and they're personal to me. This is not a sort of do as I do video. It's more illustrating how doing things that feel good in my body has really helped me create more magic in my mundane life and create meaning where I have a lot of space that would have generally been filled with the busyness of living in a city and the distraction of living in a big city. I think a lot of people find the idea of a mundane life boring, but also even people that lead a very busy, full life, maybe even a stressful life, I still think it's possible to feel both ways and still have this kind of unsatiated desire for more, to create more meaning in life. I also feel like there's this desire, especially in women, to connect to something bigger than themselves or to find more meaning in the world above just their regular schmegular schedule. And I think that's a deeply feminine urge, is to find out what that is. So why did I develop a practice in the first place? Obviously, I've been a bit more connected to this side of myself the past few years, but being home now about a year and a bit, year, 3 months, 4 months, obviously when you're bored or when your life is kind of quieter, you have more time to maybe try new stuff. Or for me, it was really environmental based, like going from brick walls with no view of the sky to coming home and having like a tree in my back patio and birds and so much nature flittering around. It was a deeply healing return home for me, despite saying bye to parts of my life that I really enjoy. Culture-wise, coming back into the situation that I've come into, which I feel very grateful for. And not only has it carried me through very difficult, emotional and traumatic times, aside from all of that, on a weird, deep, almost cellular level, something feels so homely about it, especially with aspects of my practice. It feels like something my soul has done forever. And I think that that's what building a practice is about. It's not really about copying what other people are doing. Obviously, you can try stuff via seeing examples, and if they resonate, you generally stick with them, and if they don't, you kind of move on. But I think through this trial and error process, you find things that feel just so deeply familiar. And I hope some things for you now are like popping into your mind. They could be things that you did, like I said, way when you were a child or a teenager, interests you might have, but they're the kind of things that make your spirit kind of smile. You know, being in a very nature-filled environment, it definitely helps me connect really easily, but I think I've got a very earthy spirit anyway. Like, I really love connecting to the elements and the earth, and like lying in the grass has always felt really great for me. I felt that kind of side of me starting to creep in and just getting very meditative over, COVID summers and things like that, and connecting with that part of myself again, being in a place that's so steeped in incredible Celtic history, and coming back as the person I am now, as a different person who really appreciates where they're from and has all of this life experience that I didn't have, when I lived here in my early years and my teens and my early 20s. I am a different person now, and it's all just hitting differently. I think a good practice is made up of anything that makes you feel like you're coming home, like you're coming back to a home within yourself. It almost feels like a remembrance of sorts of like who you really are at this sort of soul essence, like without conditioning, stuff that you picked up along the way. It kind of transcends that, and it just deeply appeases your spirit and feels like, oh yeah, I think I did this before, or this feels really good for me. And I've been slowly collecting more and more of these things that I do that make me feel that way, that make me feel deeply connected. And that is how I feel I make a mundane life more meaningful, by creating little pockets of magic. I think part of it is these little acts of reverence, making a day more meaningful, whether it be a moment of stillness, whether it be a moment of connecting with the world around me, make me feel connected to some sort of divine essence that's all around us, that we all feel a part of, I think. And I think in doing that, I'm also connecting with myself. So it's kind of an inner world, outer world thing. And I get the greatest ideas, the greatest inspiration, these downloads. These are times where I'm interacting with the unseen world. And for me, that's magic. That is everyday magic. That is quantum physics. That is whatever you want to call it. Many philosophers have quoted that everything in life is inherently meaningless, and you are the one that gives it meaning. And I think the things that I do for myself give my day meaning, even if it's like one meditative thought that I've come out with. I know that's one meditative thought more than many people experience in 6 months. A lot of people avoid themselves, a lot of people avoid their inner world, and I think your inner world is where the greatest revelations are and where so much of the magic is. So I think that's why I try to do things that help me get into a frame of mind where I can connect with that through my intention, whether it's lighting incense or a candle or sitting down to do 10-minute meditation. All of those things are ways that I open up the world and receive information. I have my own personal prayer practice. It's not religious based, but I think there is a deep power in creating your own prayer practice. And I feel like that's where you ask for the support you need, and then meditative states is where you listen and you receive the information that you need and the guidance that you need. Also, I will say that everything I do, it's not just purely for the whimsical nature of it. The more and more that I build my practice out and work with clients through quantum healing, hypnosis, and we work and we get these direct answers from the higher self, like nothing is purely just for the shits and giggles. I'm going into it having the awareness that all of these things are at the same time psychologically helping me. They're helping me rewire beliefs that are not conducive to where I want to go. They're giving me a certain amount of faith, which I think is really important to kind of move forward. But they're also very soothing on the nervous system. We all know we can only receive the amount of abundance that our nervous systems are capable of handling. And when you grow up with a lot of uncertainty or a lack of safety surrounding certain areas in your life, you have to work on rebuilding that. And for me, it's just all connected. And I think that moments like these are quietly rebellious because, in the type of world that we live in, this late stage capitalism where like everything is just screaming in your ear in these moments to be like, oh, that's silly, or go do something productive, or like you're absolutely notions right now, like you should be emailing back this person and making more money doing this, and going to the gym with this time. I think that doing things like this does rewire your brain, especially when you're busy. It's just shown me that things still get done, and sometimes even better when I can still myself and take myself away in the times where I feel most stressed and most busy, and dedicate a little bit of time to honestly like what I feel like now is a self-care practice. Like, what could be more rebellious to capitalism than doing something that no one can profit off of, like not even you? Creating moments of magic in the mundane has been deeply nourishing for me, deeply healing, especially coming back from somewhere like New York where it's very hustle grind mindset, and part of me really thrives off of that, but also it can be really detrimental and come up in your life in sneaky, not so nice ways that you then have to unpack and undo. I know I joke about witchy things all the time and share like little witchy tips. It's not that I'm trying to embody that archetype, it's more just so that comes very naturally to me. Like when I think of myself as a child, I was always the girl like crushing up flowers and grass in a makeshift pestle and mortar, and felt like everything was so alive. And I feel like now, as a 32-year-old, I'm like coming back to that because that feels natural for me. I dressed up as a witch every single Halloween. There was never a Halloween that I wasn't a witch. So I guess, I don't know, is it a self-fulfilling prophecy? But like I don't relate to it in the sort of way where I'm necessarily casting spells or like, putting things in a simmer pot necessarily. For me, magic is about intention and focus of energy, and I'm very interested in all things quantum realm and what the science is. That's what makes me feel like I'm embracing my personal brand of magic. I enjoy connecting with the magical qualities of life, of little things that I see in my everyday, of subtle things. And I think I love to see when other people find their way back to their own magical qualities and essence in their spirit. And I like helping people find that and helping people discover that through all of the different things that I'm involved with and all of the things that I do. Okay, I'm running way over on this stream of consciousness. That's enough thought doddering for today. I have no idea how I'm going to edit all this together, but I hope you enjoyed it. Big thank you, of course, to our sponsors today, Squarespace, who have brought you this think piece, this little online mini ad hoc essay. They are a wonderful platform to check out if you've been thinking of starting a website and you just haven't known where to start. Squarespace have an incredible platform where you sort your domain name, you pick your template to suit your needs, whether that be a blog style, an online store, portfolio, or maybe just a slice of the internet where people can find out more about you. Whatever it is you need, they have very, very easy to customize templates that will have you up and running in no time. They also have fantastic customer support. It's 24/7, as well as lots of other features like membership options and exclusive content so that you can make more money off of your talents in 2025. I will leave the link to them in the top line of the description, or you can check it out at any time at squarespace.com/Tarmer, and my code Tarmer will get you 10% off all future billing. So if you feel the nag, you feel the call, check them out. And besides that, have a wonderful rest of your day.